The Council's mockery. The Galactic Council was a formidable assembly composed of the most influential alien races in the galaxy. As they gathered in their opulent chamber, the mood was one of smug condescension. Earth had recently been admitted into the Council as a new member, but not as an equal. Instead, the humans were the subject of ridicule, their technological prowess dismissed as rudimentary compared to the advanced civilizations around them. Military Commander Edward Wilson stood stoically at the heart of the chamber, allowing the disdainful laughter of the council members to wash over him. The council, led by the pompous and arrogant Lyra, had openly mocked humanity, predicting that Earth would be a weak and easily dominated member. The alien dignitaries snickered among themselves, confident in their superiority. Little did they know that their derision was misplaced. Humanity had been preparing for this moment for centuries. Edward reached into his pocket and pulled out a data disk. With a calm and deliberate motion, he inserted the disk into the console. The room fell silent as the screen illuminated with schematics, statistics, and footage of Earth's hidden military capabilities. The Council's laughter died instantly, replaced by stunned disbelief. The specs for humanity's warships surpassed even the most advanced vessels in the galaxy. Troop numbers and weapons yields dwarfed the combined might of the Xindi, Seri, and Folian armadas. Edward's voice cut through the silence, firm and resolute. For centuries, the people of Earth have watched you subjugate and dominate lesser races. But humanity is not as naive or primitive as you assumed. We demand recognition as an equal power. We come in peace, but do not mistake our desire for diplomacy as weakness. If the Council threatens us or our allies, you will face the full might of the human war machine. The Council members, taken aback by the display of power, bristled but reluctantly acknowledged Earth as a fellow galactic superpower. Edward knew that this was only the beginning. Humanity's path forward would be fraught with challenges, and the old powers would not easily relinquish their dominance. As he left the council chamber and boarded the human flagship, Edward's mind was already focused on the battles that lay ahead. Rising tensions. Back on the bridge of the UES Titan, Edward Wilson's thoughts were consumed by the revelations of the council. The intelligence reports flooding in were alarming. The Xindi were mobilizing their forces and rallying other council races, preparing to contain what they perceived as a new threat from Earth. Deploy our stealth probes to monitor their activities, Edward commanded. We need eyes and ears on their every move. As the probes were launched, the holographic displays showed the Xindi and their allies gathering their fleets. Edward could see that they were conducting a massive joint military exercise. They're trying to intimidate us, Edward mused. A show of force to test our perseverance. The Earth fleet couldn't afford to back down. The future of humanity hung in the balance, and it was crucial to demonstrate their strength and capabilities. Prepare a detachment of our most advanced warships, Edward ordered. We'll conduct our own military maneuvers near their exercise location. It's time to give them a glimpse of what we're truly capable of. As the Earth fleet, led by the Titan, arrived at the designated coordinates, they faced the assembled might of the Xindi and their allies. Edward initiated simulated combat scenarios, showcasing the superior technology and tactical prowess of human warships. The Xindi forces were caught off guard, their sensors struggling to track the lightning-fast maneuvers and advanced weaponry of the Earth vessels. On her command ship, Lyra watched in disbelief. The human fleet effortlessly outmatched her forces in every simulation. This cannot be, she muttered, her frustration palpable. Their capability exceeds even what they revealed at the council meeting. The simulations concluded, and tensions reached a boiling point. Alarms blared on the Titan's bridge as sensors detected Xindi ships breaking formation and accelerating toward a nearby human colony. A bold response. "Captain, we have an unauthorized attack on our colony," the tactical officer shouted. The Earth fleet sprang into action, their advanced engines propelling them toward the rogue Xindi ships. Within moments, they positioned themselves between the attackers and the colony, weapons locked and ready. The Xindi ships, realizing they were outmatched, attempted to retreat. However, Edward had no intention of letting them escape. With surgical precision, the Earth fleet neutralized the attackers, disabling their engines and weapon systems while minimizing casualties on both sides. The news of the incident spread rapidly through the council, igniting a political crisis. Some council members demanded sanctions against the Xindi for their unprovoked aggression, while others defended them, claiming the attack was the work of a rogue faction. Amidst the chaos, Edward saw an opportunity. He proposed a summit between Earth and the council races, a chance to establish a new framework for peaceful coexistence and cooperation. As preparations for the summit began, Laura faced intense opposition from within the Xindi leadership. Her failure to anticipate Earth's true capabilities and mishandling of the colony attack had weakened her position. Factions that once supported her hardline stance now advocated for a more conciliatory approach, recognizing the potential benefits of collaboration with Earth. Edward and his team worked tirelessly, gathering allies and resources to strengthen Earth's position at the summit. The eyes of the galaxy were upon them, and the outcome of the negotiations would shape the future not only of humanity, but of the balance of power among the stars. The summit begins. The stage was set for a pivotal moment in galactic history. Edward Wilson stood before the gathered diplomats and military leaders in the United Earth Chamber. His voice resonated through the hall as he laid out his proposal. "We have an opportunity here," he said, gesturing to a holographic display of a devastated alien world. The Zartharans have suffered a catastrophic volcanic eruption. Their cities lie in ruins, their people in desperate need of aid. I propose we lead a joint humanitarian mission with the Xindi and Council races. Murmurs rippled through the crowd. Admiral Chen leaned forward, brow furrowed. "After their attack on our colony, you want to work with them?" Edward nodded firmly. "This is our chance to show the galaxy what humanity stands for. We'll coordinate the relief efforts, demonstrating our capabilities while extending an olive branch." Days later, Edward stood on the bridge of the UES Titan as it led a mixed fleet of human and alien vessels toward Zarthara. Laura's flagship hung off their starboard bow, a constant reminder of the underlying tension. As they entered orbit, Edward deployed relief teams. Human shuttles streaked through the ash-choked skies, delivering supplies and medical aid. On the surface, Earth's advanced atmospheric scrubbers went to work, clearing the toxic air. Edward toured a refugee camp, speaking with grateful Zartharans as human and Xindi medics worked side by side. He noticed Lyra watching from a distance, her expression unreadable. Edward's attention was drawn to a new discovery, Zartharan technology that was light years beyond even Earth's capabilities. Recognizing the implications, Edward assembled a team to investigate, hoping to forge a new alliance with the Zartharans. Sabotage and betrayal. As Edward explored the ancient Zartharan facility, he engaged in hushed conversations with the alien leaders. "We can help you rebuild and protect you as you develop this technology," he offered. "In exchange, we seek to share your knowledge with Earth." Meanwhile, Lyra was plotting her own agenda. "We can't let the humans gain access to this technology," she hissed to her advisors. "Find a way to sabotage their efforts. We must secure it for ourselves." Edward quickly became aware of the Xindi sabotage attempt. Coordinating with his team, he thwarted the attack as alarms blared across the human ships. Confronting Lyra directly, Edward's voice was steely. "We know you're behind this. Your dupes end now." In the aftermath, the Zartharan leadership approached Edward. "We have seen the true nature of both humanity and the Council races," that elder statesman declared. "We wish to form an exclusive alliance with Earth." Edward accepted, knowing this partnership would reshape the balance of power in the galaxy. As the fleet prepared to depart Zarthara, he gazed at the stars, acutely aware that the real challenges were just beginning. Crisis and diplomacy. The UES Titan glided into Earth's orbit, its hull bearing scorch marks from the Zartharan mission. Edward stood on the bridge, hands clasped behind his back, as he gazed at the blue marble below. "Sir, we're receiving priority transmissions from Earth Command," his communications officer reported. Edward nodded. "Put them through to my ready room." As he settled behind his desk, holographic screens flickered to life with reports detailing preparations for the upcoming summit. Just as he finished speaking, an urgent alert flashed across his screen. "Bridge, set course for Tsar immediately, maximum warp," Edward ordered. The Titan's engines rolled to life, tearing through space. Upon arrival, they found multiple Xindi signatures on the planet's surface, targeting population centers with some shadows of war. Edward Wilson stood alone in the dimly lit command center of the U.S. Titan, his mind racing through the implications of the recent events. The crisis with the Xindi had escalated rapidly, and he was now facing a dire situation that would test the very core of humanity's resolve. Despite the damage to his own forces and the setbacks in diplomatic efforts, there was no time for despair. The stakes were too high, and Earth's position in the galaxy hung precariously in the balance. As Edward reviewed the latest intelligence reports from the Aronian Alliance, his thoughts were interrupted by the arrival of Admiral Chen. The Admiral's stern expression mirrored Edward's own concern. "Captain, we've intercepted a communication that suggests the Xindi are planning a full-scale assault on our newly allied planets," Chen reported, his voice heavy with urgency. "They're trying to undermine our coalition before we can solidify our alliances." Edward's eyes narrowed as he processed this new threat. The Xindi's audacity was a clear sign of desperation. They were determined to prevent the formation of a united front against them. This was more than just a military campaign. It was a strategic maneuver designed to cripple Earth's influence and sow discord among its allies. "We need to act quickly," Edward said decisively. "Prepare the fleet for immediate deployment. We'll need to defend our allies and ensure that the Xindi's plans are thwarted." Within hours, the Earth fleet, bolstered by Aronian ships, was mobilized and set course for the threatened planets. The operation was to be a show of strength and unity, demonstrating the combined might of humanity and its new allies. As the fleet approached the target systems, Edward watched from the command deck, his thoughts focused on the tactical challenges ahead. The Xindi had mobilized their forces with surprising speed, and their aggression was likely to be intense. However, Edward was determined to hold the line and protect their newfound allies from devastation. The battle unfolded with a fierce intensity as Earth's forces clashed with the Xindi armada. The skies above the allied planets were ablaze with the flash of weapons fire and the streaks of energy beams. The combined fleet of Earth and Aronian ships fought with a precision and coordination that overwhelmed the Xindi forces, who were caught off guard by the scale and effectiveness of the defense. Amidst the chaos, Edward's strategic acumen shone through. He directed his fleet with calculated precision, ensuring that critical points of defense were fortified and that the Xindi's attempts to breach the planet's defenses were met with overwhelming force. As the battle raged on, Edward received a report that the Xindi's flagship, commanded by the renegade Thulv, was attempting to break through the Allied lines to launch a final assault on the Aronian homeworld. Realizing the threat, Edward personally led a strike force to intercept and neutralize the threat. The confrontation with Thulv was intense and brutal. Edward's team engaged in a fierce battle with Xindi forces, pushing through enemy lines to confront the renegade commander. The fight was hard-fought, but Edward's determination and tactical expertise proved decisive. Thulv was ultimately subdued, and the remnants of the Xindi fleet were forced into retreat. With the threat neutralized and the planets secured, Edward took a moment to reflect on the battle's aftermath. The victory had come at a cost, but it was a significant step towards establishing a lasting peace. The unity demonstrated by Earth and its allies had sent a powerful message to the galaxy. As the fleet returned to the neutral space station for the final summit, Edward was met with a new sense of hope and determination. The Council, now reeling from the recent events, was more receptive to the idea of a unified alliance. The summit discussions were intense, but ultimately productive, leading to the formation of the United Stellar Alliance, a coalition dedicated to peace, cooperation, and mutual respect among all member races. In the days following the summit, Edward stood on the bridge of the U.S. Titan, gazing out at the stars with a renewed sense of purpose. Humanity had faced tremendous challenges and emerged stronger, its place in the galaxy firmly established. The path ahead was still fraught with uncertainty, but the lessons learned and the alliances forged would guide them through whatever lay ahead. As the Titan prepared to embark on its next mission, Edward felt a deep sense of pride in what humanity had achieved. The galaxy had witnessed Earth's strength and resolve, and the future held the promise of new opportunities and adventures. With unwavering determination, Edward and his crew were ready to face whatever challenges the cosmos had in store, confident in their ability to shape a brighter future for all. The story of humanity's rise was far from over, but for now, the shadows of war had receded, leaving a glimmer of hope and the promise of a new era of cooperation and peace among the stars. A new dawn. As the remnants of the Xindi threat were dealt with and the newly formed United Stellar Alliance began to take shape, the galaxy slowly shifted towards a new era of cooperation and understanding. The aftermath of the recent conflicts left a profound impact on all involved, forging stronger bonds between species and setting the stage for a brighter future. Edward Wilson, now a prominent figure in the newly established coalition, found himself reflecting on the extraordinary journey humanity had undergone. The victory over the Xindi and the successful formation of the Alliance were not just military triumphs, but profound milestones in the quest for galactic unity. The Titan and its crew were hailed as heroes, not just for their role in the battle, but for embodying the spirit of resilience and cooperation that the Alliance sought to promote. As they docked at the neutral space station for the final time, the atmosphere was filled with a sense of accomplishment and hope. The United Stellar Alliance's headquarters was a marvel of interstellar architecture, blending elements from various cultures into a harmonious design. Edward marveled at the symbol of unity it represented, a place where different species came together to work towards common goals. The Alliance's first official meeting was a grand occasion, bringing together representatives from across the galaxy to celebrate the new era. During the summit, Edward delivered a poignant speech about the journey humanity had taken and the shared vision for the future. His words resonated deeply with the assembly, capturing the essence of the collective hope and determination that had driven the Alliance's formation. "Today, we stand on the brink of a new era," Edward declared, his voice echoing through the grand hall. "An era where our differences are not barriers but strengths, where the trials of the past have forged a unity that will guide us towards a future of peace and prosperity. Let us remember that it is through our shared struggles and victories that we become stronger together." The response was overwhelming. Applause filled the hall, and the representatives of various species expressed their support and commitment to the Alliance's goals. It was a moment of profound significance, marking the beginning of a new chapter in galactic history. As the celebrations continued, Edward found time to reconnect with old friends and allies. Admiral Chen, now a key figure in the Alliance's strategic planning, was by his side, sharing a quiet moment of reflection. "Who would have thought we'd come this far?" Chen mused, a smile playing on her lips. "From the chaos of war to the promise of peace, it's a testament to what we can achieve when we work together." Edward nodded, his gaze fixed on the stars visible through the station's observation deck. "It's been an incredible journey, but this is just the beginning. There are challenges ahead, and the road won't always be easy. But with the strength of our alliances and the resolve we've shown, I have no doubt that we'll continue to build a future worth striving for." The days turned into weeks, and the United Stellar Alliance began its work in earnest. The Alliance's first initiatives focused on addressing the immediate needs of its member worlds, including rebuilding infrastructure, fostering economic growth, and establishing joint security measures. The sense of collaboration and mutual respect grew stronger as the Alliance's various projects came to fruition. The Titan was assigned a new mission, one that symbolized the Alliance's commitment to exploration and understanding. As it set out on its journey to explore uncharted regions of space, Edward and his crew embraced their role as ambassadors of peace and discovery. Their mission was not only to explore the unknown, but also to forge new relationships and further strengthen the bonds between species. In the quiet moments aboard the ship, Edward often reflected on the journey that had brought them to this point. The trials they had faced and the victories they had achieved were reminders of humanity's indomitable spirit and the power of unity. As the Titan sailed through the cosmos, he felt a profound sense of purpose and optimism. The galaxy was now a tapestry of diverse cultures and shared aspirations, each thread contributing to a grander design. The legacy of humanity's rise was not just in their victory, but in their ability to inspire and lead by example. As Edward gazed out at the stars, the vast expanse of space seemed to hold endless possibilities. The future was bright, filled with the promise of new adventures and the continued pursuit of knowledge and harmony. The story of humanity and its allies had reached a pivotal moment, but it was only the beginning of a journey that would shape the galaxy for generations to come. In the end, it was not just about the battles fought or the alliances forged. It was about the enduring spirit of discovery, the strength found in unity, and the unyielding hope for a future where all could thrive together. And as the Titan ventured into the stars, it carried with it the legacy of a new dawn, one defined by the courage, resilience, and boundless potential of its creators.